quest for transforming Edelu Karnataka into Edelu India, Wake Up India. Uh, we're here together, and since we're thinking of going forward, I would like to take your permission to say something about what lies ahead of us. We all know what a terrible mess surrounds us, and we also know the antecedents from where it came and how it grew, like in Albert Camus' Plague, the novel Plague, how all this mental, social, political sickness has surrounded us. But I will be talking about the future. Of course, there is hope, and we should never give up hope. Like Shelley said, hope till hope creates the thing it contemplates. And there are indications. For instance, if you look at Modi said that he will wipe out Congress, but it's not done. It's still there. There is uprising in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, other places, Nepal. There are many. The South has by and large kept itself safe. There are many indications in economics, in politics, in sociology, and yet what I want to place before you is the near future scenario. Dr. Prabhakar said, shared a lot of data. I'm going to share a date, and that date is 12 December 28. Mark my words. What is this 12 December? 12 December 1872 is the date of birth of a man who was, I am told, a doctor as well as a barrister. His name was Munze. 12 December, date of birth. He's the man who went to Italy, came back greatly fascinated by what Mussolini was doing in 1923-24, and then his chela, Hedgewar, he was mentor to Hedgewar, was brought in to create the RSS in 1925. Munze was president of Hindu Mahasabha. After his term got over, he handed over the baton to Savarkar. Between Savarkar, who wrote an essay called Hindutva, Essentials of Hindutva in 1923, between Savarkar, Munze, and Hedgewar was born a vision of who is a citizen. And in their vision of citizen, Hindutva has nothing to do with Hinduism, Hindu philosophy. Hindutva, as defined in that vision, is if you are born in a country, and if that is to be considered as your Pitru Bhumi, that term was used by Hitler for Germany, Pitru fatherland, your Pitru Bhumi and your Punya Bhumi have to be identical. If your Punya Bhumi, that is the birth of your religion, is outside, then you will always remain a suspected citizen. Dr. Punyani's anguish is actually created by this kind of vision of citizen. Who is a citizen? Now, on 12 December 1949, think of this date. 1949, 26th November, the constitution is ready. The draft has gone out for signatures so that by 25th January 1950, it becomes the Constitution of India, and from 26th January 50, all of us are equal citizens. The people of India give to ourselves that we are all equal citizens entitled to all the things written in the Constitution as our rights and duties, obligations, and our accomplishment. Just 3 weeks after this, 26 November, the draft is ready. 12th December 1949. By the way, Munze died in 48. This was the first year, the first birthday after his death that was celebrated by the RSS by burning the effigy of Ambedkar, Gandhi, and Nehru at Ramlila Maidan. 12 December 49. Two visions of who is citizen become absolutely clear. In our time, more recent time, in the year when democracy started dying and fascism started, acquiring a much larger face. 12 December 19, all of you will remember, the CAA was brought in. What was CAA? CAA was compromise with the entitlement as citizen for some people. 24. Actually, 12 December, Darshan Palji will tell you, when the farmers' agitation was going on, what kind of canard they sprayed, especially on 12 December. When the history of the farmers' agitation is written, and I hope it gets written, it's a glorious part of human history. You have to mark that date, because they started in 26 November and immediately 12 December, this was said that this is an agitation by traitors. First time that word was used. Canada से पैसा आ रहा है, treachery कर रहे हैं. 12 December 24, one nation, one election. 12 December 25, a rogue census, a fraudulent census is ushered in by the cabinet committee. Now mark my words, 12 December 28. This regime, I'm saying not government, I'm also not saying non-party act, non-state actor. RSS is a non-state actor. It's not a legitimate power. It's an illegitimate power supporting. So together, this government and RSS, the word we use is regime. This regime has two plans unfolding before our eyes. And they decided to complete those plans by 12 December 28. Plan number 1 is they created an organization called Bharat Bhasha Samiti. Now this may look like a very innocent thing. This Bhasha Samiti was given money in last budget, and this budget the money is being enhanced. Their job is to show they have come up with a manifesto, 3-volume manifesto. They want to print 230,000 books by December 28, which is a declared. The director of that is from Karnataka actually, Kundu Krishna Acharya, who claims that he was arrested in emergency, though he was only 16-year-old at that time. And in India, you cannot arrest people below 18. He claimed that he has taught Sanskrit to 2 crore people, but I'll be short, because their job is to show that different language families, by the way, India has 5 major language families: Dravidic family, Indo-Aryan family, Tibeto-Burman family, Austro-Asiatic family, Andaman family. These are different. They have created the organization to establish that India has only one language family called Bharat Bhasha Parivar. Establish that Sanskrit is the mother of all these language families. If that is done, through these 230,000 books they want to print, for which they have received the money, they inducted scholars from hundreds of universities. Those scholarly workers are already laboring to produce these books. The office of this committee is placed in Delhi in the headquarters of RSS. Is the RSS. Once this is done, then they can say that Sanskrit existed before the Indus Valley civilization. Once that Indus Valley civilization ended in 1900 years before Christ, Rigveda got composed 1400 years before Christ, 500 years later. So they are claiming even Indus people were speaking Sanskrit, and beyond that there was only Sanskrit, it is Deva Bhasha. Once that is done, the identity of the people in this country and the minds of the children for several generations will be shaped exactly the way Hitler wanted to shape the minds of the German children. This kind of action normally does not deserve attention from civil society. But this time, this action, in a time-bound manner, is on. It has already taken off. They started this action in 2017, not yesterday or today. They've been going on. There is an allied action, and that is called delimitation. And I'll explain what this is. Actually, it's a boring word. Simankan is a boring word. Normal people don't worry about it. MLAs and MPs worry about it. The SIR, the census, the delimitation, and the change of the constitution are for a single spectrum action. What they want to change in the constitutional readout, this is a document from the RSS. So please bear with me. They want to change, reconsider Article 15.4 that pertains to caste reservations. Reinterpretation of Article 19 and 1912, Professor Punyani will tell you. Complete reconsideration of Article 25 up to Article 29 that deal with the rights to freedom of religion. Also with reference to the word profess and propagate in the Article 25, which they want to. Freeing of Hindu temples from government control. Reconsideration of Article 30 that gives the right to religious minorities to manage their educational institutions in a manner largely determined by them. Removal of the word secular from the preamble of the Constitution. Removal of the word socialist, Darshan Palji. Chura le ja rahe socialist word. Removal of socialist from the preamble to the Constitution, and restoration of Article 31 that deals with the right to property. Reconsideration of concept of basic structure of the Constitution. The introduction of UCC, redefinition of the term minority, and using the state, not the union, as the definition of such a classification. Having an independent Constitutional Fiscal Responsibility Commission, which is the most dangerous of these, because Dr. Prabhakar will understand the Fiscal Commission shapes our destinies in a major way. These are all the wish list of the changes they want to make. I'll return to this SIR, census. SIR is a process of exclusion. Voters list se nikal rahe. The census is being carried out in 27. It is a rogue census. It is a fraudulent census. And I say it publicly, and I can back my words. There is an international agreement by the United Nations to which 214 countries are signatories, and they say that agreement says census will take place in the first year of a decade. In 21, and in India from 1871 till today, the census has always been held in the first year, 150 years. This time 21 was a corona year. But 184 other countries completed the census in 23. India did not. Nigeria did not. And I think Syria did not. India postponed the census 9 times through administrative orders without consultation with the parliament. And it is brought to 27. अब आप बताएं, आप पूछेंगे उससे क्या होता है? सेंसस इज अ सेंसस इज अ सेंसस. लोगों कितने लोग हैं उनके सर की गिनती होती है, माथा माथे गिनते हैं जनगणना. For explaining this, I must go back to 2002. And for explaining that, I need to go to 1970. And for explaining that, I have to go back to 1950. So please bear with me. Democracy as a concept in any country in the world has an inbuilt mechanism for self-correcting the manner of representation. Who will be representing people? How many will be the representatives? Or in simpler words, कितने MPs होंगे? So in 1950, the number was increased as against 1936 का जो assembly होते थे. 5 minutes. In 1960, the number was increased. 1970, our population was 54 crores. For 54 crores, we got 544 MPs. But in that year, it was noticed that the population growth rate in different states is very unsteady. In some states, population is growing more. In some states, it is not. So it was decided that increasing the number will be held back for another 25 years. In 2001, after the census, Advani wanted this delimitation to happen, but the chairman of the delimitation commission stopped that. He was a Punjabi Supreme Court judge, and it was decided that after any census after 2026, delimitation can be done. Not just Simankan, but Sankhyankan. Therefore, this census was held back and is now being released after 26 so that the delimitation can be done. They want 788 MPs in the parliament. This man has already built a building for those MPs, Lok Sabha Bhavan. उसकी जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसीज होगी उसका नक्शा आरएसएस ने बनाया है ऑलरेडी, इस किताब में है, बट विदाउट टेकिंग योर टाइम इट इज देयर. नाउ results of the census, please give me more than 1 or 2 minutes more because I think this is important. People may not be knowing about this. Normally it takes 4 to 5 years for analysis of census results. But this census commissioner held a conference 3 weeks back and said that the census results of 27 census, 1st March 27 is the reference date, will be out in December 27. Immediately delimitation commission will get busy. And who is in the delimitation commission? It has got 3 members. One is the state election commissioner. For every state is a different person. Second is a retired High Court, Supreme Court judge. And the third is the Chief Election Commissioner of India. मैं आपको बताता हूं, ये इलेक्शन कमिश्नर और रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज मिलके when they decide these constituencies again in 28, before the 2029 general elections, the representation of all southern states will have gone down by a good 7%. Just now we got 119 or 120 MPs from the south in 543 MPs in Lok Sabha. We will get a few extra MPs, but the others will get huge number of extra MPs. To establish the arrangement is such that in 2029 elections, if this delimitation happens, this party, BJP, will be in power with 75 to 80% seats for making the changes in the constitution forever. It means the constitution book will be there, but the soul of the constitution, the heart of the constitution will be thrown out. After that, BJP will build constitution parks, constitution statues, constitution mandirs in every village, and people will think that we are living in a constitutional society with our history being only the history described in the myths. That will be the death of science. It will be death of rationality. It will be death of equality. It will be death of justice. It will be death of democracy. Sir, madam, 12 December 28 will be the day on which they have complete plans, well-drawn plans, not just ideas. Like what Munze had an idea, Savarkar had an idea. These people have concrete plans. 12 December 28, this country will be declared officially as the complete, the only, the unprecedented Hindu Rashtra. One last sentence. As we move ahead from Eddelu, Karnataka to Eddelu, India, or whatever name it has, don't worry about the name. We have to think that we have in our hands only 2 years and 10 months. I'm an old man. I have been in social movements for maybe last 30, 40 years. The grammar of social movements has changed. The times have changed. For God's sake, please do not break each other's heads to decide who will be the chief of this state in this new structure, who will be secretary. Forget, dissolve all yourselves. This is the last space for fight for us. Prabhakar ji said that next year wo Tiranga, but that is, if it doesn't, it will be seen as something irregular. But after December 28, it will be constitutionally so. This is our political situation. We have all collectively arrived here because each one of us has contributed something to it in arriving here. But we still can fight, stop census from delivering the SIR pasted results into delimitation. We can make it accountable. There are hundreds of ways of making it accountable and answerable. We can stop delimitation, which is favorable to delimitation must happen. It is a democratic process. We cannot stop it. It should happen, but not the way they want. And for that, we'll have to bring many of the states and many of the political parties and many of the right-thinking people, means correct-thinking people, not right-thinking people, on board. And that's our battle is the battle of synthesis. Our battle is the battle of mobilization. We can set aside some of the other issues for now, but this becomes a primary political battlefield. The games of the rules of the game have changed. In Eddelu, Karnataka, there was an election, and we were fighting. This time there is no election. 2029 is not an election. 2029 is the final imposition of the murder of democracy on us. And we must therefore adopt a new grammar of movement for ourselves. How we do it depends on our genius. I wish each one of you my solidarity, love, affection, and I'm sure just as Gandhi and Ambedkar could fight the British and bring in democracy for us, we can fight and stop this absolutely Hitlerish fascist attack on the sacred institutions we ever dreamt of. Thank you very much.